I guess, decided to quit my job to figure it out.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah.
What was it like? What was it like quitting? Let's dive into that. What was it like quitting your job and leaving the comforts? I think so many people struggle with this. Is like there's the financial security, and let's look at the macro a little bit.
Yeah.
There's student loans. Like a lot of people have them, right?
Yeah.
So you're 25, 26. Like I have student loans. Like I know what that financial pressure feels like.
Yeah.
So then you want to go start your own business, right? Or go do whatever you want to go do. And it's hard to go take that, or even heck, someone might want to leave their job and go to another one, but maybe the next job is a small startup and it's not as reliable. Like, how did you work through those emotions, those feelings?
I will be honest, it was definitely a long journey. I started my career in private equity because I didn't have the courage to start at that point in time. Then after moving into VC, I'm sitting around the table and meeting so many young people in my age bracket that are raising $4 or $5 million to go out and chase their dreams.
Yeah.
I think there were two pivotal moments for me. One was my direct supervisor, which I think has been the best supervisor I ever had. We'll call him E for this purpose, for the purpose of just his safety or whatnot. But E sat down with me and he was like, "Hey, I know that like you really look up to the people around you, and that's why you decided to come and work with us, but in order to be one of these sort of people, you're going to have to leave and go and start something for yourself." He was just like, we're all sitting at this table because we have all taken a bet on ourselves. And that gives us perspective in how we think about investing in these startups. And at that time, that was definitely not information I wanted to hear because I was in love with my job. I was like, I'm meeting some young, energetic people every single day who are trying to change the world. And you're telling me that I have to, if I want to get to the level that I want to get to, I'm going to have to quit all of this, all the hard work I put in to get here. I'm going to have to quit it all and go and start from scratch. After he and I sat down and spoke about that, I realized that he was coming from a place of just straight love. He was just like, look, I know you have a lot of ambition, and unfortunately, in order to reach that ambition, you're not going to be able to do that here. You're going to have to leave and go try something for yourself. The second pivotal moment for me was a man that I love. I'll mention his name because he is a musician, so it'd be a great plug for him anyway. But this dude name is Shav. He created a company, and I was fortunate enough to be able to invest in that company. But I sat down with this guy and was just so inspired by him. But most importantly, we were the same age. And I called him, or he called me the morning that the team decided to fund him. And he was just like, Phil, I don't know what you just did, but you just made sure that Initialize gave us X amounts of dollars to go out and build this dream. And like this was 6 o'clock in the morning my time. We're shouting to the top of our lungs and we're just like super excited. But I sat back and I was just like, yo, this guy's the same age as me. And he just got X number of dollars to go out and fund his own dream. And I was just like, I love investing and I'm having a blast. But the world that I want to see, it's either I'm going to wait and hope that somebody else builds it, or I'm going to get out there and give it a shot myself. And I was just like, I have no real obligations right now. I have a car that I have to pay off, and a little in student loans. But to be fair, I was fortunate enough to go to school and not have to take out a big amount of loans. But it was just like, what's stopping me right now? I'm never going to be this free in life ever again. So why not give it a shot now? And I think it was that conversation between he and I that morning where I was just like, yo, he is somebody my age and he's been on this grind for 4 or 5 years. I want to be like this guy. I want to be like the people that I look up to. And in order for me to do that, they all decided to bet on an idea that they had. Give it a shot. Who knows where we land, but as long as we're enjoying it along the journey, I'm sure you can make something positive out of it. So I think those were like the two sort of pivotal moments for me. My supervisor telling me that like, in order to get to where you want to go, you're going to have to go and try something. And then me working with this guy that was my exact same age. He got X number of dollars and he's just like, yo, thank you. Like, you helped me do this. And I'm like, wow, I helped you. What does that mean for me? I could help myself do this as well. So yeah, it was those two big moments for me that like made me finally pull the plug.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like it was a pretty gradual process.
Gradual
and
for
it wasn't
sure.
this on and off switch. It was almost like there was some weight that had to be added, and then you were able to make the jump or turn the switch.
Absolutely. I think there were a few other pieces that came into play for sure. One is a blog that I started. I created a blog just because that's what every junior VC does, to talk about their learnings. But instead of talking about VC stuff, I just kind of used it as a diary for all intents and purposes. So what I did is create the blog and just shot it out to all my friends via text. And it was a password protected blog. I said, yo, just read it, tell me your thoughts. And I realized that it became an outlet for me to talk about the things I was afraid to say out loud. But most importantly, after I told my friends, or after they read the articles that I was writing, they were just like, yo, you have to do this now. You just told me that you're going to do this. So like, I realized that, and I started being a lot more aggressive with the goals or milestones that I set out for myself. So I think it was like my third blog post where I told people that within the next 2 years, I'm going to quit my job to start a business. Turned out to be about 6 months, but kind of telling all my friends that this was like my larger goal, that I'm trying to get comfortable being ambitious with what I want and trying to go after it. That it's sort of like multiplied upon itself. People start coming back to me saying like, yo, how can I help you out with like getting to where you want to go? How do I hold you accountable? And I was just like, honestly, just by like having these simple conversations with me, kind of going back to the initial question that you had asked about like biggest fears. It's been terrifying for me to think about like going back to my friends, telling them I want to try all of these beautiful things and I want to give it my best shot. And 2 years later, they're like, oh, did you try it, any of it? And I would sit there and say no. And that to me, that idea of sitting there telling those people I didn't even give it a try. I'm getting emotional thinking about that, but that quite literally like just makes me shake. I'm just like, yo, we have one life to live. And I just told you what I'm going to do. Said I was going to do it 2 years ago. And if I came back 2 years later and didn't even try, for me, it just felt like the least you can do is try after you told all these people what you want.